Good evening, everyone. I call the meeting of the Local Control and Accountability Plan Parent Advisory Committee, otherwise known as the LCAP PAC, to order at 6:03 p.m. I would like to welcome all of our members, our staff, the board, and the visitors. This evening, we promise to be open, honest, clear, and direct. We also promise to empower, to be inclusive, and to listen. And as I turn it over to John, he will be discussing our purpose and our function, our core values and norms. John?
Thank you, Kim.
You're
And
welcome.
welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening. Again, I just want to welcome, actually, I would like to begin by welcoming one of our new student LCAP PAC members this evening that I see joining us, Serena Naran, who, pending board approval, will be serving as one of our student representatives. So Serena, welcome, and we're really excited to have you join us this evening.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Great. So as Kim mentioned, I would like to begin this evening by grounding our work in the function and purpose of our LCAP PAC. There we go, thank you, which is to serve in an advisory capacity on matters pertaining to the LCAP with a specific focus on improving outcomes and meeting the needs of our English learner, foster youth, homeless, and socioeconomically disadvantaged students. I would also like to share our LCAP PAC core values and norms, which is our commitment to one another in creating a safe and productive space. So we'll just leave this up for just a moment for you to review before moving on. All right, well, once again, everybody, I just want to welcome you and thank you for joining us this evening. And now I'm going to turn it over to Steve, who's going to facilitate our community building activity.
Hey everybody, welcome. Just wanted to ask a kind of a question about your weather, your personal weather, kind of give us a weather forecast of how things are going. So I'll start. Mine is, I'd say mostly sunny, and I think that's pretty much consistently with a little bit of cloud cover from the weather has made it a little tired today. So that's pretty much, yeah, that's my son's laughing at me in the background. So if we could, you can share in the chat, or you can raise your hand or just unmute, and if anyone else would like to go next, maybe Kim.
Sure, Steve. So mine today is, I'd say, a little warm. It's a little warm. I feel extremely cozy at home with my candles lit because of the rain, and I'm so happy we have gotten this rain. We need it. So just super cozy and warm.
Anybody else?
So I guess I'll go. I would say I'm feeling fairly sunny. Sort of a probably sort of a fall, late afternoon sunny type of feeling. So thank you.
And Deborah just put in the chat box, cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms. Bathroom remodel is in full swing and it is crazy in our house.
I can go. I would say I feel pretty sunny today, ironically, because it's raining. I absolutely love the rain and the clouds, and it's my favorite weather. So kind of heightened my mood today.
Thanks, Serena.
This is Amber. I'll jump in too. I think that my weather forecast actually matches the weather outside. I was feeling a little cloudy this week. I feel a little overwhelmed lately, but you know, pushing through. There's always those parts of the day where the sun peeks through and the clouds part, and so that happens throughout my day as well. So still grateful, just a little cloudy.
Yeah. Karen, would you like to discuss or share your weather forecast today?
Yeah, definitely had a few raindrops earlier, and I think we have some clouds, and so it's kind of gloomy. Got my hoodie on, just kind of feeling comfy.
Great, thank you. Let's see, Neelam, would you like to share?
Yeah, today I feel a little bit gloomy because I am at home. Outside is cold, but inside it's warm.
Thank
And
you.
the pain. Welcome.
Okay. We're still a little early on the community building activity. So if anyone else would like to share, Paula or Dr. McKibben or Kent or John, we've got a little
I'm
bit of
very
time.
happy. I am just so grateful to actually see the rain falling in a consistent manner. We got one shower a couple weeks ago, and I went outside and stood in it, and then it stopped. So then I wasn't that happy. But the fact that it kind of stuck around made me really, really happy.
Great.
Yeah. I enjoyed the rain so much that I was doing yard work, and I just kept doing yard work because it felt good to have the rain falling on us and so forth. And I got done what I needed to do. So it's just keep coming. Just bring on all the rain we can get this year.
Anybody else like to share before we move forward? Okay. With that, we will move on to attendance. And Kim, would you like to introduce this?
Absolutely. So Laura conducts our attendance. Please answer present, here, or any other way you believe reflects your personality to let Laura know that you're present. Thank you.
Okay, and I know right now it's a little early. Other people have said that they are going to join, but right now we do not have quorum,
Okay.
if I've got the numbers right. So I'll start at the top. Deborah Avalis.
Here.
Karen Brown.
Here.
Kim Jones Brown.
Here.
Amber Busby.
Here.
Tom Nelson. Here.
Here.
Okay. Neelam.
I'm here.
Thank you. And Steve Rubens.
I'm here.
Anybody that I didn't capture rather than go through the whole list? Okay. So we will move forward to the minutes approval. At this point in time, we don't have a quorum. What we can do is we can go back to it if everybody would like to, because I know we've got a motion that somebody wants to make tonight. So why don't we move forward and we will get back to that. I'm anticipating another 5 or 6 people that have confirmed they would be joining tonight.
That sounds good, Laura.
Okay, perfect. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to John.
Great. Thank you, Laura. And actually, now I'm going to turn it over to our board president, Viasquez, and board member McKibben, and then Superintendent Kern to provide us with an update. So President Viasquez, if floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's really great to see you, even if it is virtually. I think, as always, I hope you all know that it's not lost upon us how much work these things take, and not to scare off Serena, who I'm really excited to see here, but just know that it takes time, and I just continue to be super appreciative of you taking your Thursday night. I'm sure this is the most exciting thing you can be doing on a Thursday night. So Karen, I saw that. Karen disagrees. But no, it really does. I want you to know it has an impact. And actually that goes into my next update, which is just a quick overview, kind of our last meeting and kind of what was brought forth. And in addition to a couple of items, you know, we did discuss the ESSER 3 expenditure plan that had a lot of feedback there, specifically also from this committee. So I just want to kind of impress upon you all, right, that the work that happens here does get moved up to not just me and Dr. McKibben, but all of our colleagues, and is appreciated by the entire board. In addition to the discussion on that, we had a K-8 schools update to kind of understand how we got to kind of a little bit of a crazy mixture of our K-8, K-6, TK-8, etc. And so that was an interesting discussion and report, as well as a pretty robust construction update, which, you know, in a pandemic, we've continued to rebuild a good chunk of the district, and our efforts continue. So it's pretty hefty meeting since the last time you and I have met. We've got another one coming up Tuesday if you care to join us. But that's just a little bit of the updates that I wanted to offer in addition to my continued gratitude. I will now turn it over to Dr. McKibben to see if he'd like to add anything.
I too wanted to welcome Serena to our group. Looking forward to hearing from you and hearing your views and opinions. I want to continue on what Paula started. We on Tuesday, we've got a couple of really very interesting items. One is a workshop item where we'll look at the issues related to open enrollment in the district as we continue to take a look at ourselves and so forth. And so so if any of you are interested, the agenda is on the website, and please feel free to come either live or virtually and talk about that item. Another item that we're going to be talking about is school start times. You may recall a couple of years ago, the school start times legislation was passed, and it basically moved so it required so that high schools and particularly middle schools have to start, I believe, after 8:30, and which also means that you virtually have to change the start times of elementary schools too. So we're going to be changing the start times for probably most of our 60+ schools, and this would be an interesting item for many people to look at and talk about and try to hear what we're thinking about this thing that was mandated through legislation. So that's just a heads up on a couple of items that are coming that you might be interested in.
Kent, I'm not sure if you had anything you wanted to add.
Actually, I was going to share what Dr. McKibben shared. So he kind of stole my thunder on that. I was going to speak about the start time piece. I'd like to say welcome to Serena. And I will tell you, you guys are blessed to have her as part of our group. She is on my Superintendent Students Advisory Council. And at some point, it would be neat for you guys to hear her talk about some of the things that group has done, because last year during the pandemic, they did some amazing things. We're already off and running. One of the topics that the group brought up in my meeting, Serena, was that I think it was last week, wasn't it, or the week before?
I think it was the week before, the 1st of October.
Yeah, they brought up an interest that the students have around just our dress code and how kind of antiquated it is, and it really targets the females compared to the males. And Serena actually sent me a couple of files that she was already doing some research. She had done a survey for the student population at her school. So I'm excited to see her as part of this group. You guys are going to benefit greatly from really her wisdom and knowledge. So I'll leave it at that. Glad to see everybody here, and just thanks for your commitment to the district.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And so next on our agenda, we actually do have a staff report this evening, and she'll be joining us in just a few minutes. So if what we'd like to do is, we are moving a little ahead of schedule, so we're doing just fine with time. So if you would like, take about a 3 to 5 minute break and pause, and then we'll reconvene here, and we'll have our staff report and continue on with the agendas. All right, everybody, if we're ready to move on here, I'll just give everyone a second to take their seats, and then we'll move on to the our next staff report here. All right. All right, well, thank you for being flexible here for just a moment. So now what I would like to do is for our staff report this evening, we have Christine Moran, who is our Director of Multi-Tiered Systems of Support, known here in San Juan as our MTSS, who is going to share some information about the programs and services that we have in place to support our students' social emotional wellness. So Christine, please feel free to jump in, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Great, thank you. Everybody can hear me okay? Okay, thanks, John. All right, so thank you for the opportunity to share some of the supports we have for our students in the area of social emotional learning and mental health. As John said, my name is Christine Moran. I'm Director for MTSS, Multi-Tiered System of Supports. And I'm here tonight representing multiple other departments and leaders who are involved in this work as well. I'm going to provide a brief overview of some of the supports available to our students in these areas, but there will also be a more comprehensive presentation that will include data and program specifics at the December board meeting. Next slide. Thank you, Laura. So as a district, when we look at student need and supports, we operate in a multi-tiered framework that layers our supports based on data. So just a quick overview, tier 1 is core instruction, and it refers to what all students receive at school in the area of academics, social, emotional learning, or behavior. Tier 2 is supplemental or targeted support that is provided to students who are identified as needing additional supports to be successful. It could look like a reteach opportunity in the classroom or a small group for academic or social skills. And tier 3 is more of an intensive support for students who require even more support. It's important to remember that students in this level also have tier 1 and tier 2 instruction and support in place as well, but tier 3 provides more intensive individualized support. So with this context in mind, I'm now going to share what supports are available at sites and what central office supports are available, along with some other resources we have. So this shows the number of counselors and social workers we have at our sites. In addition to the site-based counselors and social workers, we have 3 of our sites this year that have been selected by the Sacramento County Office of Education to participate in their pilot program of having a mental health therapist on site. The county's goal is to eventually have 1 on every site. So we're very fortunate that we're starting with 3. It's important. The other thing that's important to note is that these numbers reflect current staffing and do not take into account that we do still have some various vacancies. We have positions posted, but just as you all are probably aware, there's been a labor shortage in the area, in the state and at the national level. So we do have some positions that have remained unfilled. So this is what we have currently staffed in our system. And then the next slide, in addition to the supports that are available at sites, we have a couple of central office programs that are also placed at sites to support them. One is called the Student Support Center. That's a program that I help run, and you'll see the numbers there. It's a multidisciplinary team. We have counselors, social workers, mental health therapists, social emotional support technicians, a school psychologist, a nurse. We have some academic intervention specialists, a teacher on special assignment, and a coordinator for trauma-informed schools. And we are at 37 of our elementary and middle schools. And there's teams at each of those sites that help provide supports to the students at those sites. And then we also have what we call our low density supports where we have 2 school social workers, a behaviorist, and a social emotional support technician that are available to those sites as well. Another layer that we have of support in San Juan is the White House Counseling Center. This is for students with more intensive tier 3 mental health needs, and students are referred to this program by their sites. And currently there's a program manager, 2 mental health therapists, and 3 interns to support that program. And again, there will be more staff added to as well. We're just in the process of hiring. And then it's also important to note within our special education department, We also have 12 educationally related mental health therapists that are available for students who are on IEPs that need additional support. And we have 30 school psychologists as well. While another piece of this is while we were on distance learning, a collaborative team at the district created a way for students and parents to reach out for support during that time. And it was called our Get Help referral link. It's housed on the district website. What happens once a request is filled out, there's a team of us that receive them, and we then assign it to either the site-based staff, support center staff, or low-density staff to contact the student and family to offer supports based on their identified needs. There's also, you'll see on this, there's a tier 3 referral that is for employees only. So it's for students who have been receiving some tier 2 supports at the sites, and their needs go beyond what the site can provide. So then they fill out the tier 3, and that comes to us as well and gets either sent to White House Counseling or the mental health therapists within the support center. And then a last support I wanted to talk about is Care Solace. Care Solace is a concierge service that assists with linking families and students to services based on their identified needs. Again, this link is also available on the district website and has also been shared multiple times through our communications department using their various social media platforms. Basically, Care Solace takes in the information, matches the student or family member with a practitioner within the community that is has accepting patients and matches the need, and then makes the phone calls on behalf of the family and gets the appointment set up and the student or family member into care. This is actually also available to our employees and their families as well. So again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to provide an overview of supports available. Again, there will be a presentation in December board meeting that will share the current data and more details from each department involved in these areas, a little bit more into the programmatic aspect of it, and some data around which students are receiving supports. Because all of this is really a collaborative effort that crosses multiple departments in our district. So that's the report. We're very proud of the work we're doing and do look forward to sharing more information in a variety of venues.
Thank you so much, Chris. And we do have a little bit of time to answer some clarifying questions. Just to front load a bit, if it turns that we find ourselves moving into a discussion, what we can do is pause our conversation, and then we can consider it as a future item on a future agenda item, since discussion items need to be agendized. But with that being said, this is an informational item. So if anyone has any clarifying questions, feel free to raise your hand. And I think you have your first one. I see Chelsea's hand up, and I believe Tom had his up as well. So Chelsea, do you want to start? And then we'll follow up with Tom, I guess.
Yes, hello, thank you. I have 2 questions. One is about Care Solace, and I'm wondering if you can tell us approximately how many staff have used Care Solace for mental health needs for themselves. As you know, teacher retention and teacher mental health is a really hot topic right now. So I'm curious to know what the usage is like.
I don't have, what I'm going to report is actually last year's data, and it was around 90 that had engaged with Care Solace, but I think there were maybe 5 that went into care. So with our employees, we have our health benefits plan that also has some of these services. So it usually links back to their health care for our employees. But we did see employees using it last year. And then in the presentation in December, we'll have all the numbers on current usage as well.
Great. And then my second question was about the referrals to the White House Counseling Center. Is that just for low-income students, or is that all students?
It is, we can take all referrals, and then sometimes they do, depending on the level of need, they can refer out. I will let you know, I am not the program manager over that program. Her name's Monica Howard, and she'll be helping us present in December, so she can actually give you the more of the details on that. I don't want to misspeak.
Okay.
Did you have a question?
Yes, yeah. I know last year our student representative on the board that I think Serena may know since he was part of SAC Kennan, he mentioned that SAC, and he also asked if there would be if there could be an increase in the number of counselors, but I guess really in general the number of social people supporting social emotional support. I realize there's a lot of different categories besides just counselors and social workers and therapists, but I guess in general, have the number of positions within the district and all of those collectively increased from last year to positions this year?
Yes, they have. Part of that was through I can't remember the acronym, the ELO grant. I think it's Extended Learning Opportunities Grant, and then some ESSER money from the federal government. We did increase positions. Sites were given funds, and many sites were able to hire based on those funds, site-based personnel. I know for support center, I was given additional funds for 4 additional positions for social workers, counselors, and 5 additional positions for social emotional support techs. I know White House was given, I believe, funds for 2 or 3 more mental health therapists as well. So yes, we did increase availability of positions, but we also have some positions that honestly have gone unfilled thus far, but we continue to post. I've networked with Sac State to let them know when we have vacancies to try and get candidates who are currently finishing programs as well. So yes, we have increased our staffing.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It's very good to hear. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Amber, I see you have your hand up if you want to jump in.
I do, thank you. I am happy to hear that there is this targeted support for students. I also see a lot of quantifiable data, a lot of quantitative data. I wonder about the qualitative side of that data. How is it going with connecting with the students? What supports are given to the team if we find that building rapport with students is a little bit tricky? Are we placing more seasoned social workers and counselors at schools with greater need rather than having someone who's newer to the field and who might not be as seasoned with approaching really difficult conversations with students? I wonder about that stuff, if any of that would be presented coming in December, or if it's more so like the quantitative pieces of how we're staffing and supporting schools.
We can present both if that's of interest. It is the numbers, but then it's also going to go into more the program aspect, which might get more into the qualitative data. When we presented last year, we also had a social worker present and a site principal to kind of share their experience as well. And I'm pretty sure we'll be doing the same this time around. So I can make sure we add those things into the presentation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other clarifying questions? All right, Chris, listen, I just want to thank you so much for joining us tonight and for presenting and sharing some of the programs and services that we have in place right now for our students, especially during this time, of COVID-19. So thank you for that. And I'm just going to plug one more time for the MTSS team that the full team will be presenting at our, I think you said December 14th.
That's my understanding, yeah, December 14th.
Right, so for all of you, I definitely recommend, if you're interested in learning more about what our entire MTSS team is doing to support our students, to please attend that meeting as well. So thanks again for joining us, Chris, really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks, Chris.
So now what I'll do is I'll turn it over to Laura here for general visitor comments.
Yes, and at this time, this is opportunity for visitors. to ask a question for anything that they have on their mind that's not on an agenda topic for this evening, just raise your hand. I'll call on you. Serena, that would probably be you. I think you're our only visitor tonight. So if you have any questions not related to our agenda tonight, ask away. You'll have 2 minutes to speak. Don't feel any pressure at all. But if there's something you'd like to discuss or ask, you're more than welcome to.
I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make a plug for Serena too. I had the opportunity to meet her on, what day was that, Serena, that we met? Tuesday?
I think it was Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday, yeah. She came over from school and I'm just so impressed with Serena. She's going to be a great addition to the PAC. She has so many, you could tell she thinks through things. She's very articulate, involved in very many things at her school, and cares about lifting student voice. So we're so excited to have you. Okay, so at this point, we will move into our LCAP overview. So I'll turn it over to John.
Great, thank you. All right, everyone. So for our next agenda item here, we're going to focus on providing you with an overview of the different components that make up the local control accountability plan and how they're connected to one another. Specifically, the local control funding formula, the 8 state priority areas, the LCAP, the school plan for student achievement, the dashboard, and then the state and local metrics. And the reason for this is that oftentimes these are things that we hear in our work, particularly as they pertain to the LCAP, but they sound, we want to just show how they're aligned to one another and how they're related to one another rather than these separate things that are unrelated. Thank you. So the local control funding formula, known as LCFF, is a California law that was passed in 2013 that changed the way that funds are distributed from the state to local districts. LCFF funds include here a base level grant, and that's based on average daily attendance for all students. And then additional funding is provided through supplemental and concentration grants based on the number of low income, English learner, foster youth, and homeless youth students. And then the local control funding formula also lists 8 state priority areas that every district must address in their LCAP to ensure a high quality educational program for students focused on these 3, I guess, larger areas around conditions for learning, engagement, and pupil outcomes. And then in order to access the funds from the state of California, districts then develop a local control accountability plan. And this is done in partnership with our communities, our families, our students, our staff, advisory committees, and labor partners. And the LCAP is a 3-year plan that's aligned to the 8 state priorities that describe the goals, the actions, the services, and expenditures to address student needs, specifically for our low-income English learner, foster, and homeless youth students. The LCAP is also centered around, as you can see here, 2 core principles, and that's around equity and continuous improvement. So beginning with the 2019-2020 school year, San Juan launched an expansive listening and learning process as part of the development of a new district strategic framework and a new 3-year LCAP that resulted in the development of 4 focus areas and goals that are listed here. And these are aligned to the 8 state priorities. They drive our continuous improvement work across the district, and they also serve as our LCAP plan goals as well. So as I previously mentioned, the LCFF lists 8 state priority areas that every district must address in their local control accountability plans. And then each school site must then develop a school plan for student achievement that is aligned to the district LCAP with their own goals, their own actions, services, and expenditures to support again, our low-income English learner, foster, and homeless youth students as well. So as you can see here, the LCFF is connected to the 8 state priorities, which then informs our district LCAP and ultimately our school SIPSs as well. And then California has also developed a school dashboard to provide parents and educators with information on school and district progress so they can participate in decisions to improve student learning. So the dashboard contains reports that display the performance of districts, schools, and student groups on a set of state and local measures to help them identify some strengths, challenges, and areas that are in need of improvement. And then finally, the State Board of Education adopted state and local indicators to measure both school district and school site performance in regard to each of the state priorities. So this data is publicly reported, as I just mentioned, on the California School Dashboard. The state indicators apply to all the districts, schools, and student groups, and are based on data that is collected consistently across the state, whereas the local indicators apply to districts and charters, and that data is collected at the district level. So with that, I'm going to pause here for a moment, and I'm going to turn it over to Laura because we do have visitor comments, and then we're going to turn it back over to the PAC for discussion. So Laura, I'll check in with you about visitor comments, and then we'll bring it back for our PAC discussion here.
Thank you, John. At this time, if you have a comment relating to the LCAP overview, please raise your hand and I'll call on you, or just come off mute and ask your question. And then you'll have 2 minutes. So Serena, this is back to you. Serena and I spent a little bit of time going over the overview when we met on Tuesday. And she caught on very quickly to it. So if any questions out there from our visitors? Okay. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it back to you, John.
Okay, so before turning it over to the PAC for discussion, we just wanted to offer these 3 questions as a potential starting point to help the discussion. So you might want to consider, what became a little more clear, what might still be a little bit foggy, and what connections are you making between what we just learned and our LCAP function and purpose. So Kim, I'll turn it over to you here to facilitate our PAC member only discussion here. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, John.
No worries.
Okay, so as John asked, 3 questions. What became more clear to you, and what is still foggy, and what connections are you making between what we just learned and our LCAP PAC function and purpose? Let's address the first one. So anyone, you can either raise your hand, you can add it to our chat, or you can just take yourself off of mute and speak freely. But what became more clear to you? I know my first year as an LCAP PAC member, they went over this very same thing, and there was so much that was made clear to me, but there was even more that was foggy because it was so much information. And I know you guys only got to see the slides for a very short amount of time, but just in looking at them, and maybe Laura, you might want to pull them up as well so that they can reference back to a few of the slides. So if anyone has any questions about the LCFF, how the funding is, or our state priorities, maybe go back to state priorities as well, because that's a big one for us. We'll work on this throughout the duration of our time together.
So Kim, I see that Tom has his hand up.
Okay. You can take yourself off of mute, Tom, and just speak freely.
Yeah, I guess one thing that the way that John described it, that the state indicators are measured, are measurements on the dashboard with those dials that go from like red to green and blue. Those state indicators measure both district level performance as well as school site performance, but that the local indicators only measure things at a district-wide level. So, for example, the parent and family engagement is something that is reported by the district for the district as a whole. And it's something that, in my mind, unfortunately, is not reported also on a school site by school site basis, but hopefully the district-wide reporting can be a consolidation of that. So that the way that John put it kind of helped clarify that those local indicators are only measurements at the district level. Thanks.
Thank you, Deborah. I saw your comment. And if you had any anything that you might want to share, since you have a lot of experience, if you wouldn't mind sharing some things so that everyone else has a better understanding as well.
No, I thought it was a really good overview.
Thank you. Okay. So let's go to the next question, and it was, what is still foggy? Is there anything that's not very clear to any of you? Or are you all just still trying, or are some of you just still trying to process the information? Okay.
I just want to make a note too that our LCAP, we just received formal approval October 8th from Sacramento County Office of Education. So it's in the printing process. There are handbooks being developed. Everything's ready to go. We're just waiting for the report, the approval of the report. So next month, we plan on doing kind of a deeper dive into the report. Just a heads up for you.
Okay.
Kim, can I make a comment?
Yes, please, Chelsea.
So the only thing that's still foggy for me is how the LCAP is going to change this year with the expansion of all of the funding that's coming from the state and the federal government, and whether or not the priorities will shift because of our response to COVID and this year to quarantined kids, for example. So I look forward to those conversations.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Chelsea. And has everyone had the opportunity to look at our dashboard, the California School Dashboard? And you can just, with a show of hands, if you could just, with a show of hands, put up your hand if you have been on our dashboard before, have experience. I saw 2 hands go up. Okay, that's 3. All right. So it seems like only half of us have been on the dashboard before. So maybe that's something that we can do together at some point to kind of help others navigate through it and have a better understanding of it. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, because I think it does take some hands-on to really appreciate the performance metrics, and without understanding the performance is really something that can help and should help guide in making recommendations as to what things should be prioritized. So that I view the dashboard as a way to set and adjust the priorities year to year. So having a deep understanding and a full understanding of the dashboard by our committee, I think is quite important.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on unless anyone else has. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Amber. I saw your comment. And yeah, I would like for us to get into the dashboard at some point. But if no one else has any other comments or questions, we'll move on. So there was a motion to post Zoom links for our LCAP PAC meetings 72 hours prior to the meeting. And this motion was made by Tom.
And Kim, we do not have quorum.
We do not.
Tonight,
okay.
So we.
So what I'll do is, since we do not have quorum right now, is I will discuss some of the pros and cons of Zoom links. And this will give everyone a better, more information and make an informative decision for our next meeting. Yeah, unless we get quorum before this meeting is over. So I'll start with the pros and then I'll go to the cons. So the pros is accessibility. So with providing this link within 72 hours instead of 15 minutes, it gives more accessibility and shareability. So people are able to copy and paste that link a lot sooner and get it to other people. Have the link in preparation for joining the Zoom instead of having the hassle of having to go to the site or go find the email to try to get to it and then click on it to join. So it gives people time to prepare. There are a few other things that I learned, and this was through the Guardian, CNET, Tom's Guide, and Forbes. This is research that I had done, was that on August 13th of this year, Zoom fixed many of their hacking flaws. On September 13th, they encrypted the Zoom phone calls for added security. On September 30th, the more Zoom flaws were patched. And then on October 19th, they announced more security measures by requiring all Zoom users to update software that's no later than 9 months by November the 1st. So there have been a lot of security measures put into place to minimize Zoom bombing, which was one of the biggest concerns. So that's going into the cons. There are security risks, there's hacking, and there's Zoom bombing. And that was why our district had made a decision to put Zoom links up 15 minutes prior as a practice so that they could eliminate a lot of the Zoom bombers. So that's the information. I did ask for data from the communications department and IT, and they didn't have any data to provide to us as far as how many Zoom bombers there were, at which meetings they occurred, things like that. So at this point, the Zoom bombing we can look at from the district level as a correlation and not a cause and effect. And so that's the information. Does anyone have any questions or want to go into discussion about this now? Just to maybe share more information that someone else may have. Okay, so we'll move on from there.
Sorry, Kim, can I ask you a question?
Oh, absolutely, Chelsea.
As visitors, okay, so as PAC members, obviously we have to sign in to our own Zoom account before we are admitted to the PAC meeting. Do visitors have to sign in into a Zoom account also, or not?
They do. Everyone who utilizes Zoom has to have a Zoom account to be able to sign into Zoom. So it's Zoom to Zoom. Thank you, Chelsea. And at this time, Zoom is considered to be one of the #1 platforms. I think they were like 6 on one of the lists but one of the #1 platforms in 2019, they went from 10 million to over 300 million users, which I believe is why there were so many flaws. But still, with using this platform or any of the other ones, there are those security risks. That's a good question. Any other questions? Okay. So then we'll move on, and we may revisit this depending on if we have a quorum later. At this time, let's see, are there any visitors with our one high schooler? Would you like to make a comment on this issue?
No, I don't have any comments.
No problem, Serena. Thank you.
Kim, I just want to mention, Stephanie is texting me. She's trying to get in, but can't get in. I just emailed her the Zoom link. So hopefully her and Elnora will be on shortly if they can access it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Karen. I did see your comment.
So Kim, would you like to transition into committee business? And if we get Elnora and Stephanie on, we can revisit the minutes and revisit the Zoom access.
Absolutely. So I had wanted to share with our entire committee just a little more in depth about the Green Act, because for a long time we had been under the Brown Act. And when we shifted to the Green Act, people were still confused at what the differences were. So I just wanted to clarify to everyone the differences so that as we move forward in our committee, we can communicate a little more effectively because of this change. So if we can go to the next slide, Laura. So the Green Act is very similar to the Brown Act in regard to everything that you see in Brown is within the Brown Act and within the Green Act. And so all of those things still stay in place. The only differences are the last two that you see in green. And probably the most important for our group is going to be the first one. The no provisions prohibiting communications among a majority of members outside of public meetings. I'll start with that one. So before, when there was the Brown Act, there were these things called serial meetings, and they were prohibited and still are prohibited within the Brown Act. Examples of those would be emails, text messages, blogs, social media, hub-spoke communication, which is when an individual will reach out to multiple people at different times with the same information, and that information is relayed back and forth between those multiple individuals at different times. So that's what hub-spoke communication is. Well, now that we're under the Green Act, we now can communicate with a majority through text, emails, Zoom meetings, pretty much in any type of forum, we can communicate with a majority and there will be no penalties. And as for the last one, there's criminal charges against individuals for intentional violations are not authorized. So under the Green Act, we wouldn't have any criminal charges against us. But under the Brown Act, if you violate any of these things, there could be criminal charges. So those are the two differences. So as we're moving forward, and we'll probably discuss this in like some of our future agenda items on different ways that we can begin to start to connect with one another. Because I know for me, I'm feeling very disconnected from last year to this year within the LCAP PAC. And so we're going to try really hard to connect better and find out ways that all of you believe we can utilize to begin to connect better as well. Okay, thank you, Laura. If you can go to the next one.
Just a second.
Okay. Give me just a moment.
Can you see it, Kim?
Okay, I see. Stronger together. Thank you. So I created a form and I am going to share it in our, let me find it really quick. Share it and figure out how to do this. I'll share it in a few moments.
Okay. Do you want screen sharing? You want to be able to share your screen, Kim?
I'm not that tech savvy, Laura. So
Okay.
probably not just yet.
Oh, okay. I was going to give you co-hosting capabilities.
What I think I may, well, let's see. Let me see if I can. Give me just a second. Let me see.
Okay, let me assign you as a co-host.
Okay.
Okay, you should get a message.
Okay, give me just a second.
And it looks like Stephanie and Elnora have just joined. Stephanie, can you confirm that Elnora is with you? We're trying to establish a quorum. Okay, wonderful.
Here.
Okay, great. We have quorum now.
Sorry, guys, I'm late.
No worries.
Okay.
Glad to have you.
All right, let's see. Let's see if I can figure this out. Let's see. So is there something that I have to press or just do a screen share?
Oh, here. Sorry, let me stop the share. So hit screen share or share screen.
Okay.
And make sure you've got what you want to share open.
Okay. Let me do that first.
Sorry, Kim, I was trying to do
That's
a couple
okay.
things at once, so my bad.
I totally understand. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let me pull the other one up as well.
So make sure you're clicking on the document you want to share and then hit share. So
Okay.
you'll want to highlight that document.
Okay, I think I got it.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Let's connect and Zoom. I apologize, everyone, for taking so long.
So Kim, you're doing great.
Let's see. Okay, so now I'm back on screen share, and then it says only hosts or all participants.
Probably all participants that you want to share it with.
Who can start sharing when someone else is sharing? Only host. Okay.
It sounds like are you clicking on the little up arrow on screen share?
Yes.
Yeah, don't do that. Click on the green, just the button itself, not the up arrow.
Oh, okay. Just about this. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Perfect. All right. Makes life easy. Okay, there we go.
There you go. Nice.
And can everyone see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We can see it, and you're doing a great job.
Okay,
Yay,
perfect. Thank you,
yeah.
guys. All right. So the purpose of us creating this forum is just to begin to start connecting. And so it's 8 questions and 4 optional questions. Of course, we would like your name so we know how to respond to you. We don't need email or phone number because we have that information. And so it's just, how were you invited to the LCAP PAC? What is your preferred method of communication? What is your preferred way of meeting? Of the many reasons to join the LCAP PAC, what is your #1 reason for joining? And do you participate in any other committees or groups in the San Juan Unified School District? Do you work with any nonprofit organizations? What school sites are you associated with or do your students attend? Or for our students, what schools do you attend? And are you interested in having a personal meet and greet with myself and Steve? Then let's see if I can go on, because I think I have to click a few things just to move on. So I think I'm gonna have to click a few of these, you guys, because I want you to actually see this. Okay. Okay. All right, so I think this is all the ones I have to click. So this right here is what's optional. These are 4 questions, just getting to know you better. And so if you don't want to answer any of these, just click no and submit. That simple. If you do, we're just asking some fun questions. What's your favorite meal time? What's your favorite season? What causes are you most passionate about? And name one thing on your bucket list. And then you would just submit it. Oh, I guess I forgot. Submit it, and then you're done. So this just helps us to know how we can best communicate with you, what your preferences are, learn a little bit about who you are, and also that last piece to know if you want to do a meet and greet with me and Steve, so that we can begin to know each member of our team individually. And so that was the form link for Stronger Together. We're Stronger Together. This one right here, I am going to add to our chat. And at the end of our meeting, if you would like, and this will be for all of our meetings, I'll be adding this, is just to see how did we do, just to kind of get a pulse of how are we doing our meetings? What can we do better? And it's just 4 questions. Are you a member or visitor? Was this meeting a good use of time? And then what worked well during this meeting and what could we have done to improve future meetings? And that's it. Any questions on either one of these? Okay, I'll stop sharing right now.
All right. Hey, Kim, what about Kim?
Yes.
A question. So with that last one, would you, how do you respond to that?
You mean, so
there's some, like a survey one.
There's a link, so I'll put the link inside of
How are you
the,
gonna respond to that?
I'm sorry,
No, I'm
Stephanie?
saying, how are you gonna respond to after, if we have an issue, or if there's something missing, how do we know that you're gonna respond to it? Like at the next meeting or in an email or what?
Okay, so all of the information from the one concerning how our meetings are going, that is not, we're not responding to that. So it's not something, it wasn't created for us to, it was only for us to get feedback to work on how we should improve our meetings. And so it wasn't to leave like any comments that had to be addressed back to that individual. It's solely for us to learn how we can do better. But what I will share with our PAC is kind of like the overall or general ideas of what we did well or are doing well and how we need to improve. That's what we'll bring back to our PAC members, but not individual, probably not individual comments. Yeah. Did that answer your question, Stephanie?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. Well, we shall move on. So let's see the next.
Kim, would you like to put the links into the chat box and then
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
move forward
Oh,
after that?
absolutely. Sure. I tell you guys, I am not a multitasker. So
Kim, you're doing fantastic, Kim.
You are.
thank you. All right, let's see. Okay. So here's the first one. This one is for the survey, the meeting survey. Okay. And the second one is for the link to Stronger Together. There you are. You see both of them? Okay, perfect.
And Kim, another thing you can do is send out an email to the PAC with these links as well.
Okay, I plan to do that.
Great.
Thank you, Laura. And these are voluntary. So this is only if you would like to participate. I would like for all of you to, but it is voluntary. And the meeting form is also for our visitors. So it isn't just for PAC members, but it's also for our visitors, as well as our staff and our board. We'd love to hear your feedback. Okay, and I will turn it over now to Steve for future agenda items.
You know, Kim, I have a quick question. We can do the future agenda items, or we can go back to the minutes approval and the Zoom links and take care of that right now. Would that
Let's
be
do
okay?
that. Yeah, let's do
Okay.
that.
Alrighty. We've got the screen up for the minutes. So we will, we sent out the September meeting minutes draft for review. So if you were, if you reviewed the minutes and you want to approve them, just go ahead and approve. Just say yes. If you weren't at the meeting, you may abstain. Just say abstain. Before I do the roll call, we're going to have a motion made to amend the minutes. And Tom, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, on this agenda item for approval of meeting minutes, I want to make a motion. I motion that committee minutes only contain information that occurred at the meeting, that is, things that happened between the time our chairperson called the meeting to order and the time our chairperson adjourned the meeting. So I hope somebody would be willing to second that motion.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is there any discussion? Okay, then let's
Maybe
take a
for a
vote.
little background, for the past maybe 8 months in the meeting minutes, when we have follow-up items, I had been going back and putting the resolution in them. And there was some concern that the meeting minutes need to be clean and just an accurate reflection of what occurred during the meeting. So that's why Tom brought this motion up.
Okay, we're ready to take a vote.
Okay, so we have a first and second motion. Deborah, do you approve the meeting minutes with the corrections to remove the follow-up?
Yes.
Thank you. Karen?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Elnora? Oops, we have Stephanie? Did we lose them? Okay, I'll circle back to you. Chelsea?
Yes.
Motion,
I'm
Tom?
here. Sorry, I was on the late.
Okay, do you approve the meeting minutes with the recap, or the corrections to remove the follow-up?
It's a yes. I approve the motion I made.
Okay, and I think Stephanie, you as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and Elnora? How about Neelam?
Yes, approve.
Thank you. Steve?
Yes.
And Jacqueline?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, motion carried.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to John. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, yeah, I just have a clarification that the motion I made and that we approved was not specific to approving the September minutes or any minutes. It was a general motion that applies for committee business, going forward. So actually, I would recommend that a separate motion be made that we approve the minutes from the previous meeting with with them complying with the motion I just made, that they only contain what occurred during the meeting.
Thank you, Tom. I second that motion.
And let's see, okay, so with that, I'm going to come down the list again. And this was the second part, and that's to moving forward. We, on all the meeting minutes, we keep the follow-up out of that. So Deborah.
Yes.
Thank you. Karen?
Unmute, yes.
Thank you. Kim, I know you're Amber?
Yes.
Yes.
Elnora and Stephanie? Do you want to come off mute, Stephanie? Okay. Chelsea?
Yes.
Thank you. We got Tom. Neelam?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And that was a yes, Laura. Sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And Jacqueline?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, motion carried. That was unanimous. So at this point, Kim and Steve, shall we go ahead and move back forward to the public Zoom links and go forward with the motion?
Sure.
Okay, let me locate it real quick.
Okay. Tom had a motion to give public access to Zoom links within a 72-hour period from the prior 15 minutes. Tom, would you like to present your motion? You're on mute, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Let's see, in the spirit of LCAP Focus Area 1 of Connected School Communities, I make a motion to encourage including public participation by posting our Zoom link meeting ID at least 72 hours in advance of our meeting.
I second that motion.
Is there any discussion or clarification? Okay, we can take a vote.
Okay. So Deborah, I'll start with you. Do you approve of posting the Zoom links at least 72 hours prior to the PAC meeting?
Yes.
Thank you. Karen?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Stephanie and Elnora?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Chelsea?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Neelam?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Jacqueline?
Yes.
Okay, that was unanimous. Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we will, John will review our PAC purpose and function.
Kim, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I think before I turn it over to Steve, I'm going to just quickly review, as Kim just mentioned, our function and purpose, as well as our PAC meeting schedule and tentative board agenda to help focus our recommendations within the scope of our LCAP work. That being said, if a suggestion is made that is outside of the purview of this committee and maybe more suited for a school site, another district advisory committee, or the school board, we'll do our best to assist you as well. So just as a reminder, our function and purpose as a PAC is to serve in an advisory capacity on matters related to the LCAP, with a specific focus on our English learner, foster youth, homeless, and socioeconomically disadvantaged students. Next slide, please, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Laura. And then I just wanted to share, here are the topics that we plan on addressing at future PAC meetings that include reviewing the LCAP plan and data connected to our LCAP metrics. And then finally, here are the tentative board agenda items through the month of December, so you can see what topics will be addressed by the board. As you can see here, upcoming agenda items include ESSER 3, special education, facilities, and social emotional wellness as well. So with that, I'm now going to turn it over to Steve, who'll be able to facilitate this section of our agenda. So Steve, go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. All right, so considering what John just went over, our function and our purpose, wanted to see if we could get some feedback on some future agenda items. We'll be taking notes on those. You can raise your hand, Laura will call on you, or you can put it in the chat, and we'll be happy to acknowledge that. So feel free to go ahead.
Tom, is that your?
Okay, I see Tom's hand
Raised.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, for giving me the floor. One thing I noted is that there was a reference to what is in the purview of the LCAP committee. And that is something which I believe requires judgment, so that it's my understanding that that is the role of the chairperson. So I'd just like clarification that whether something is or is not in the purview of the LCAP committee is a decision to be made by the chairperson.
Tom, I believe you're correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I appreciate it.
Welcome. Thank you for the question. Chelsea?
Yes, so first I just wanted to say thank you so much. I see that chronic absenteeism is on a future agenda item, and that's something that I brought up at the last meeting. I have an additional question, and I apologize, I don't have that future agenda list up on the screen, but perhaps linked, or maybe it'll be part of that chronic absentee discussion. It would be helpful for the PAC to also have a small presentation on the declining enrollment that's happening in the school district and whether or not the district for this school year, and whether or not the district has done any, run any reports to identify where the kids are going. Are they going to private schools? Are they going to charter schools? Are they moving, et cetera?
That's good. Thank you.
Am I able to add agenda items or present some as a visitor?
No, not as a visitor, not at this meeting, but at the next meeting, you definitely can. So start preparing your list. Thank you, Serena.
You know what, Serena, you can after Tuesday night around 7:30 because you'll be an official board member then. So feel free to email us any future agenda items you can think of.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Let's see.
I know that oh, go ahead, Stephanie.
Can I piggyback on what Chelsea said about the attendance? Can we also get feedback on, because there's been a couple of staff that was unsure regarding the attendance correction regarding the pandemic. There was a certain due date due a form turn in, and we didn't know if it was a school or a school district or who to go to. And I got the runaround on if your child was affected by the pandemic and the grades became. And so I know that's a big deal for especially high schoolers, it goes on the transcript. So if we can get feedback on that.
You mean, Stephanie, how to make corrections?
We know when the pandemic occurred, there was a thing going through the state of California of children able to get their grades.
Grade changes, you mean, Stephanie?
Yeah.
I think you're breaking up a bit, Stephanie.
I think she's talking about the grade changes and the going from grades to pass fail.
Stephanie, is that what you're talking about?
Online.
Stephanie, if you can hear us, can you put it in the chat if you meant grade changes or attendance? Okay, we'll come back to Stephanie's question once.
Or Stephanie, feel free to email it to us as well.
She said yes.
Okay, she said
both.
yes,
Yep.
both. From 2020. And I know, Stephanie, with attendance, that you only have a certain amount of time at the school site level to address the attendance. I'm not too sure what that time is. We could find that out for you, but I do know that. I'm not too sure about the at the district level though. So we can follow up and get some of that information for you.
I think it's 5 days off the top of my head, but I'd have to double check.
Let's see what Deborah sent over. Okay. So Stephanie, Deborah sent over some information in the chat that deals with the pass, no pass grades and student retention. So that deals with the grade issue. I want to check that out. Okay. I did have a couple of things that I'd like to put on the future agenda, and that would be creating a community outreach plan that we can implement in January, addressing how we will want to reach out to the community, to underrepresented families to participate. So that's something I'd like. And then also, I like us to have a conversation about subcommittees forming to address our 8 state priorities. So those are the 2 items I'd like to put on our future agenda. Is there anyone else?
I'd like to see some conversation on parent engagement. How, as kind of piggybacking what you said, see how we can get more parents involved.
Did you have anything else, Steve, you wanted to add for any of our members?
Kim, I have a clarification. If you'd like to hear it, I can share it with you regarding one of the questions that was asked earlier. Otherwise, we can do it. We can discuss it on Monday when we have our follow-up meeting, whatever you prefer.
No, I think tonight is perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sorry about that. So just to Tom's question, it says in our bylaws, if the chair and staff liaison jointly determine that the topic meets the charge of the committee and is aligned with state law, current board priorities, and available staff resources, the item shall be placed on a future agenda. So I just wanted to add that there just as a clarifying point, since it just answered the question.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Oh, thank you, Kim.
Okay, Stephanie says grades and okay. And then let's see what this is. Okay. Jacqueline, what did you mean by gift cards?
For the other one, when he said to get more parents and, you know, engaged.
Okay.
That was his.
Okay. Thank you. Chelsea, is your hand still raised? Did you have another question or item you want to add to a future agenda item?
Nope, although, you know, my mind is always going, but not at the moment.
Okay. Another thing I just wanted to share with everyone is that everyone's voice in these meetings, these LCAP PAC meetings, is equal. Everyone's voice is equal in this space. And so feel free to share whatever is on your mind, because sometimes we think, oh, maybe that's not a good enough future agenda item, or maybe that's not that important, or maybe I should think of something better than this. And maybe the thing that you are thinking of is exactly what we need to hear. So I just want to encourage you to participate and know that your voice matters and that every voice in this meeting is equal. Okay. If there are no other suggestions, we can move on. Is that okay, Steve?
Yes, please. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Okay. So at this time, we will have I believe our last visitor comment.
Just at this time, Serena, I'm going to open up to you for any visitor comments or questions you have. Items not on the agenda.
It was a great first meeting for me. I'm very excited for this year, and I can tell that all of you are very committed to this council, and I'm very happy to see that. And I'm very excited for the year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Serena.
Excited to have you.
Okay. So at this time, we are done. It is official. Tomorrow is Friday. So I want to thank all of you for joining the meeting, for your participation, for your time. And we hope to see you back at our next meeting, November the 18th. Thank you very much. Our meeting is adjourned.